What happened to the smartest kid in your class? The smartest kid in my school was really popular, and was one of my closest friends. But when he graduated he left everyone and everything behind, including his family. He even changed his name. I found out this little bit of information because a friend went to an academic conference and showed me a group photo and he was in it. I exclaimed, "That's my friend Pascal." He kept his first name but his last name was an anagram of his original name. After never having even smoked a cigarette or drank alcohol in high school, straight as all the way through, he got a full ride to a really good university. As a freshman he dropped acid, walked out in front of a car and was killed. He went to MIT, works for Apple, and has a very expensive home in California. He also has a wife and 4 kids and seems to be very happy. I remember he was programming games in high school and was valedictorian. A big nerd who became a wealthy big nerd. Went to a big college. Got a degree in tech. Now makes 6 figures and owns a townhouse outside of Baltimore. He lives with his grandmother mainly. Smokes a shitload of weed. Flies a girl from Colorado to fucking smoke with. I married his sister. That was me, Dukes or valedictorian of my high school. Voted brainiest by my peers for the school yearbook. Highest university entrance grades of my school. Quintessential nerd. I went into chemical engineering, because that was the degree brainy kids did. I was okay at the job, but never great. Bounced around across 5 different manufacturing companies, mostly in entry-level positions or close to it. Has some mild successes, got a few promotions. Got made redundant a lot. Finally secured a management position after 10 years. And realized I absolutely hated every aspect of the job. Did a lot of soul searching. It really was a massive shock to my system that I had failed at something that was meant to be for the smart people. Took a lot for me to redefine my identity without smart being at the heart of it. These days I teach chemistry at the local high school. I absolutely love it. Kind of regret that I turned my nose up for years because I was too smart to be a teacher. But I can't change the past, so all that's left to do is learn from it. Had a full ride through Berkeley. Ended up experimenting a lot with hallucinogens. Started to believe he was a starchild or starseed and was from another planet. Ended up starving himself in a national park to die with the Earth so he could meet other star children. Fucking miss and love you, buddy. Edit. It has come to my attention there is a Berkeley and a Berkeley. He was the smartest kid, not me lol. So I'm updating this to add the correct college. When I was in middle school, we had a super smart kid join later on in the semester that was always teased because he was above everyone else mentally. I think in 8th grade he was doing 10th or 11th grade mathematics. Any test that he took he passed with flying colors, hardly even studying. He befriended me. I was kinda quiet in middle school because of stuff going on at home. His mom always made me an extra sandwich whenever she made his lunch. I lost contact after graduation, but a few years later when I was a sophomore in college I decided to look him up on Facebook and couldn't believe what I saw. There was my friend the brainiac smoking salvia out of a huge bong as his profile picture. I think he had to take it down because when I looked him up again he had pics of him drinking out of a funnel. Died in a car accident sophomore year. I loved her. First person I felt those feelings for. I could remember the first time I saw her in kindergarten. We also learned to golf together my freshman year. It was tragic because she had so much potential and died overachieving trying to get to school early for jazz band practice. It was snowing and school hadn't been delayed or cancelled yet as our superintendent liked to always wait last minute. She hit a slick spot and collided with a semi. She got a PhD as neuroscience from Stanford and I think she's a professor or associate professor somewhere now. She was possibly the sweetest girl I'd ever met. I was an intelligent underachiever, and ended up in a few AP courses with her because our teachers saw my test scores and refused to continue to let me do dipshit things with my dipshit friends. She was always super proud of me when I actually showed up and put some effort in and, lo and behold, got excellent marks. Honestly, she really turned around the last 2 years of HS for me. Also, she's wicked hot now. A hot genius. From one school, he was razzed, not quite bullied, because he wanted to be a truck driver. He later graduated as valedictorian from our local Vok Tech school, got an associate's degree in diesel mechanics, did that for a few years, and later went back to the community college and has taught it since the late 1980s. He would have been a drastic failure as, say, a doctor or a lawyer. From another school, she and her husband are probably sovereign citizens. I sure wish I was making that up. He did his undergraduate degree, couldn't afford a master's etc., so ended up working in offices for 15 years where he had to hide his intelligence around his county workers. Finally founded his own company and is now in politics where he can be the smartest person in the room and people will respect it. Good guy, just way above most people's level of intelligence and has had to hide it most of his life. Went to college for mathematics as one of the most promising young minds in the Midwest. Was in college for a year before switching to study Spanish. Dropped out a year later. Currently works at GameStop 20 minutes from his parents' house, where he lives. He was a good friend of mine, but I recently learned that he considered me his best friend. It's such a shame that his intelligence is going to waste. He is literally so smart, and has such a talent for math, but he seems content with his life. Who am I to judge? That was me. I'm now a stay-at-home dad of 4 wonderful kids and in a loving, 16-year marriage. My wife is my best friend. While I may not have reached my full potential academically, I'm happy. Very happy. I realized that life is too short to care about anything other than living my life the way that I want to, not the way that I'm expected to. He got someone preggers right out of HS. So he decided to not go to the Ivy League school he had a full scholarship to and stay home to be a dad. He got his associates at the local community college and is now a science teacher at the same high school he graduated from. I talk to him every once in a while when I'm down there to visit my parents. He's always asking about my job cause he wanted to be a software engineer when he graduated high school and the community college didn't even have regular computer classes, so he settled for some environmental science degree. He has a PhD and is the executive director of a nonprofit organization that deals with sustainable farming and forestry. He's also an associate professor at a fairly high-ranking college. He was always one of the nicest and kindest people in my graduating class, in addition to being the smartest. It looks like he's doing well, and I'm happy to see it. I think she got a literature or education degree, and more recently, as we hit our 30s, she's had 2 kids. The grade below me is a bit more interesting. They had 2 really intelligent twins. One works in financial markets, I'm never sure what she does, don't want to say and be wrong. Her brother has had a truly meteoric rise in aerospace engineering. In 5 years, he went from graduate in an entry-level position writing build manuals, I think, to a project manager for the design of a manned and unmanned. My understanding is that there are variants space vehicle. He got his pilot's license while in college, and has started back at flight school to get his instrument rating. He's musically gifted as well. In fact, I've known him 11 years at this point, and I'm not sure I've ever seen him perform poorly at something he set his mind to. Quite the contrary. He's someone who sets a 5-year goal, meets it in a year or less, then sets an even more outlandish 5-year goal, and meets that too. I was valedictorian in a class of less than 20 people in high school. I never found work in the field I studied in college and was tired of the shitty entry-level work I'd been stuck doing for years, so I went back to school for some certs related to IT and programming. I'm doing just above entry-level IT work now, which is fine. The girl I was planning to marry left me shortly after I turned 30, but because of the housing market I'm forced to live in the guest room of the home we had bought together. Due to one of the jobs I'd worked before getting into IT, I'm dealing with anxiety and depression caused by PTSD. I'm living in a city that I hate after having left my friends and family behind to move in with my now ex, so I'm very much alone. People often said I was smart, but it was always just surface-level facts and decent communication skills. I know my situation could always be worse. I'm grateful to have a job and a place to sleep, and being able to communicate with friends over Discord has been helpful. Still, I'd hoped my 30s wouldn't be like this. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on the best Reddit stories.